An existential approach in therapy is informed by existential philosophy. It appreciates the way in which we each necessarily take up a first-person perspective or stand in how we relate to the world, to ourselves, and to others. Existentialism is heavily committed to and prioritizes phenomenology. It carefully attends to the phenomena of first-person experience and awareness. This can be as simple as experiencing the redness of an apple or tasting the bitterness of a lemon. It can also be as complex as how we experience time, our own freedom, or confront an awareness of our own death. One of the key mantras or rallying cries among existentialists is that existence precedes essence. This can be taken to mean two things. First, it means that in terms of what we encounter in the world, first-person existence or subjective experience is always at the foundation. Existence is prior to a discovery or an understanding of essences, which involve essential properties or conceptual categories of an object or a thing. Take, for example, this pen. Conceptually, we understand it as a pen. Concepts, of course, are abstractions. They name what all members of a class have in common. So in this case, we can talk about the essential properties of pens, that they contain ink, that they're used for writing, and so on. But this is nothing at all like my experience of this particular pen, which at this moment, as I stare at it, happens to involve very specific shape and color and size. The raw experience is the prior phenomenological ground of my being able to describe it abstractly as I pick out specific attributes of the object and make categorical generalizations, such as my calling it a pen. Another way of putting this is to say that perception is prior to conception. Some therapy clients genuinely struggle with being able to distinguish raw experience from abstract thought. This often happens when clients talk about feelings and take the word, for example, sadness, to be the feeling. But of course, emotion words are little more than abstract labels that we clumsily employ to denote a subjective experience. Not only can I use abstract words without experiencing a thing in my body, but as soon as I try to put my experience into words, it ceases to be the thing it tries to designate. The word sadness is not the feeling, but an abstract label. The feeling itself almost defies words, but we might get a little closer to it by describing the raw sensations, such as a lump in the throat, a heaviness in the chest, eyes welling up in tears, and so on. To say that existence precedes essence is to recognize that existence is not an abstraction but a lived experience. It can't be reduced to abstract thought, since thought assumes the prior ground of a concrete, here and now, visceral experience. This is one of the reasons why Descartes was wrong to suggest "I think, therefore I am," since thinking already presupposes being. The second meaning of the statement, existence precedes essence, is based not on an ontological understanding of what there is in the world and how we encounter it, but on appreciating our radical agency and freedom. We're not born with core essences where all of our essential features and attributes are fixed. Each person potentially creates or recreates his or her essence through choice and action. Through phenomenological analysis, the existentialist begins to shed light on the unique ways that we experience ourselves in the world, not as objects or things, but as self-aware persons capable of projecting ourselves in time, entertaining future possibilities, and deliberately acting in the service of life projects and pursuits that can have subjective and deeply personal meanings. Paraphrasing Heidegger, we are the kind of being whose being or existence is an issue for itself. Existentialists recognize that we humans have distinct existential concerns that naturally arise from this unique way of being in the world. One of the great existential therapists, Irvin Yalom, talked about the four givens of existence. Existential concerns are problems that we must all deal with in some way. These include the problem of death, of meaning, the problem of freedom, and of existential isolation. I'll address each of these in separate videos, so if you're interested, make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Thanks.